Now we'll talk about Microsoft Fabric, Azure SQL Mirroring, and CDC, how to choose. And mind that when I chose the subject of this session, it was before the releases from this week, that now there are the Fabric databases with an auto mirroring inside, but the mirroring still makes sense in some situations. So, Azure SQL Mirroring and CDC, how to choose, what is it and how to choose. Well, we'll talk about real-time ingestion. We are talking to have the information in real time. In many situations, you may be in an easy environment. It is an easy environment when your manager tells you, okay, if the analytics data is D-1, it's fine for me. That is great because you can build ingestion pipelines to run in batch at night, and that is great. The problem is when the manager says, no, I want to see the information about what is happening in the company now. Sometimes the manager has a reason for that. Sometimes there is a meaning for that. But half of the times is just because they want to. Because think about real-time ingestion, data arriving in real time. Think about data arriving every second. I have scenarios of telemetry about internet dishes arriving every second. Who will really be looking to that in real time? What's the need of that information in real time? The answer? None. Not for the end user. If you need the real time for this, you need the real time for this to analyze the information that is arriving and take a decision about how to react to a bad situation. Identify bad scenarios and take a reaction, but not for the end user to be looking to the data, because the end user will not spend that day looking to the data. But here we are talking about Azure SQL. Azure SQL, your production database. How will pass the Azure SQL to Fabric? Azure SQL data to Fabric. We can use mirroring, or we can use what's called CDC. What's the best option? I will focus this section about talking about the best option. But in my YouTube channel, I have isolated videos, some long ones, about each individual technology, about ingestion using CDC and ingestion using mirror. So in this section, I'm focusing about the difference and how to choose. Okay, so first, what's CDC? I'm talking about CDC, what's CDC? CDC is an abbreviation of Change Data Capture. But this abbreviation is in a middle way between technology or pattern. There are technologies which receive this name, CDC, Change Data Capture, but this ends up becoming a pattern because there are multiple databases which support this capability, called as CDC. So CDC can be seen as a technology or can be seen as a pattern. The Source SQL Server provides information about every data change. So SQL Server has CDC capabilities. Azure SQL has CDC capabilities. We only need to enable the CDC to make the CDC work. So we only need to turn on. Does this capability affect the database performance? No. This capability doesn't affect the database performance. Why? Is a long DBA explanation related to transaction logs and so on. But no, it doesn't affect the database performance. And CDC, what is recorded in relation to the SQL Server CDC is the operation which happened and the records affected by that operation. In fact, it's recorded record by record. What operation was made on each record, and we always have a before and after value. How was the record before that operation? How was the record after that operation? The most experienced ones may already be thinking about incremental load. Incremental load is something extremely desired in the analytical era because it's not something very easy to implement. And with CDC, you can implement incremental load. So we can query the changed data from a specific moment. What do I mean with this sentence? What I mean with this sentence is that while I'm on this slide, I'm talking about a SQL Server capability. A SQL Server capability which we will need to enable. We enable this SQL Server capability, and then we can use this SQL Server capability. How we can use this SQL Server capability? We use this SQL Server capability by querying special tables inside SQL Server. So we can make what we could call a manual algorithm to keep querying the CDC tables in SQL Server and getting the last change which happened in that database. That's something that can be done, and you even find tutorials about this in Microsoft website. It can be done, and you find tutorials about this. So incremental injection is possible. On this first slide, I'm talking about the SQL Server capability of providing CDC. But on the second slide, I'm talking about something different. I'm talking something which is in preview and is called CDC streaming. What CDC streaming? Is the capability of not make the work, to put someone to make the work for us. So we don't need to build the algorithm to make the queries over SQL, to plan in relation to the last date that we need to get the data. We don't need anything like this. We just use a feature in Fabric, real-time intelligence, event stream. We use a source called CDC streaming, and we start receiving CDC information from Azure SQL. So we just enable CDC on the Azure SQL side, but we don't need to handle it manually. We go to Fabric and we configure the CDC streaming. So Fabric will receive a streaming of the CDC information, which is happening in Fabric. So we don't even have the work to make an algorithm to manage that. So it's in the source, SQL Server, Azure SQL, whichever. So send us the CDC updates in real time. So the source sends us these updates in real time. Event Stream has a SQL Server CDC source, Azure SQL CDC source, and it's not the only CDC source that exists in Event Stream, inside real time, inside Fabric. As I said, CDC is becoming a pattern. So there are CDC available for other data sources as well, and these will increase. Increase, and increase more. We receive the data in real time. We still need the processing for SCD ingestion. Did I mix the letters? No. This time I'm talking about SCD, slowly changing dimension. Let me talk technically about this sentence, and I come to it with the explanation later. I mean that to receive the change flow and transform this change flow in a slowly changing dimension, which is usually our final purpose, we need a slowly changing dimension, we need a process. We need to make a processing. This processing is not made for us yet, unfortunately. So this we need to make.
I have a question about CDC streaming. The CDC still, the architecture is still in batch, or it's shipping
Real time.
But in batch, because little confused with the Kafka. But Kafka not use batch, use its messages. It's the different, the architecture.
When you say batch, what comes to my mind? Let me try to synchronize with your question. When you say batch, what's come to my mind is a bunch of records that you process at once. On CDC ingestion, they will not wait a bunch of records to arrive on the CDC in SQL. The record was changed, they will send to the streaming.
You know what's the protocol for that? Is that like an open standard that, like, for example, you can design your own application to stream data as such, or is it close to Microsoft? So, for example, I can expect that this is like row by row record with like a JSON format, maybe, or something like that. Or
yeah, I think it's different because the CDC, you can send row and row as little in the logs. You said the logs you send. It's real time, but it's different from Kafka because Kafka it's the structure is different. This
is closed.
It's closed.
It's closer to the level that I had an issue with that. I asked it to a guy from Microsoft. I have this table here. I'm looking through this table. This table is tempting me to tweak it. Should I? He screamed in the mail, no. Don't touch this table. Don't touch. This belongs to us. Don't touch. The results will be unpredictable. Don't do that. So it's closed. On the other hand, if you are looking for something open, you will love the announcement for Ignite that announced the open mirroring. You create an open mirroring where the source of the data is defined by you. CDC JSON structure. What I mean about that? I mean that the message which arrive in the event stream are JSON message about each record change. So we need to understand the structure of this JSON message so we can later process the record using this message. So first, a JSON snapshot. Last time I tried this feature made a strange behavior. Part of this behavior is good, but part was excessive. I think it was a bug. What was the behavior? When I enabled the CDC streaming, immediately the CDC streaming started to extract all the tables from my Azure SQL and send me record by record as a JSON message. It's like it gave me an initial position about the tables. If what I get later will be changes, I need to have an initial moment. I need to have an initial moment. If the feature is not giving me an initial moment, I would need to create this initial moment in some other way. I would need to make a first import of the tables before enabling the CDC. I will have to create an initial moment. But what the feature is giving to us is the initial moment. When the feature is enabled, it takes a snapshot, a JSON snapshot, and starts sending to us. When it's starting, a snapshot is taken. One JSON document for each record. Inside the JSON document, there is a field called operation. When the field operation is R, it means that this is part of the snapshot. This is the initial state of the table before the changes started to be recorded. All tables are included, not only filtered tables or CDC-enabled tables. This is the part that I consider a bug. If I told CDC to make the streaming of one table, because why it's getting a snapshot from all of them? Has no sense. So it's a bug of a preview feature, in my personal opinion. In my personal opinion, it's a bug of a preview feature. Probably this is a preview bug. So you see the format of the JSON. We have the before record, the after record, some additional information. Source is the information about from which table this is. And OP is the operation which is being made, is R. Operation R, meaning this record belongs to snapshot, belongs to the initial state of the table. This record belongs to the initial state of the table. If I go into source, I have here the table name, table schema, and a snapshot as Boolean. True. Yes, this JSON document is a snapshot, and I can use the information to decide what to do with this initial JSON document. It's the initial image of the Azure SQL database. It's part of the initial image of the Azure SQL database. Okay. After the snapshot, after I receive the snapshot, I start to receive the ingestion. So, one document for each row, for each change of a row. The operations can be C for an insert, create, U for an update operation, or D for a delete operation. Welcome.
Again.
Oh, she's still.
Tinha reunião no Brasil.
Ah,
Sorry.
So, in this case, OP is marked as U. I understand it's difficult to see. But OP is marked as U. I swear it's an U here. A snapshot is marked as false. And this is an update. This is an update. Operation U is an update. In this case, in the JSON, we have the before, how the record was before the update, and the after, how the record was after the update. So when processing this JSON, I have the capability to compare the fields and discover which field was changed. What if I'm not interested in all the fields? If the field which changed is not one of my interest, I can just discard the change, not consider the change.
Good question. On a snapshot, did you say that you receive a JSON for each row? That's going to be massive, right? That's for a snapshot. Because JSON is not really efficient for that type of.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive.
It'll be like times more than the actual database.
Yeah, it's massive. I hope in the future they make this configurable, because you just went to the point. For some database, receiving the snapshot in this way is not possible. You need to make the initial image in a different way, in a more performatic way. So for some scenario, this would not be possible. So I hope in the final version, this will be configurable. You choose if you receive the snapshot or not.
I have a question. In data engineering, we have layer. We have many layers, like raw and another layer. On this layer, we have the historic of all of the change data, and it also have this information: insert and update or delete. But in your opinion, what's the difference in use this layer to get the historic and use the JSON to have the historic, because the JSON is for the historic.
It's not about the difference of the format of the layer. It's the difference about the objective and the purpose. The scenario that you have is usually a scenario where you can schedule calls to some external area. This is scheduled. You get the data and you drop on your raw area. This usually is a shadow. And the difference here is that it's not a shadow, it's continuous in real time. So it's not exactly a difference on the format itself, although the format is slightly different. But the main point is the difference of method. One, when you can make in batch in a shadow way, another coming from real time.
I guess this part is more the how part, because like it's the first part. It's the historic, but it's the raw way. You know, in this time you don't have a layer or something like that. You just have a how process, like it's update, it's a delete, it's a created, just it. It's like it's just the first part. And after you do that, it's like okay, I will do the historic for this part, or depends of the structure of your data, I guess.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Yes. So the event stream will be receiving the JSON documents about record changes. Our record changes will arrive to the event string. Okay. So we talked about CDC and we talked about how the event string receives the data in CDC. Now let's change the subject because our purpose is to compare CDC with mirroring. Now let's talk about Azure SQL mirroring to Fabric. The point is that mirroring, the name summarizes what it is. It's a mirroring. Internally, the method which is used is similar to CDC, but it does all the tasks to us. It's just a mirroring. Okay, so let's start seeing it working. Let's start with mirroring. Mirroring is the most simple one to implement. So let's start seeing mirroring working. Just a moment. Let me get to the right place. I have here on Azure SQL database. What I'll do is to mirror this Azure SQL database to inside Microsoft Fabric. So I'll mirror this Azure SQL to inside Microsoft Fabric. Okay. I have a workspace here which I use it as example, mirroring sample. Okay. And this workspace has a lakehouse. I may use this lakehouse for some samples later. But our purpose now is to trigger the mirroring. It is on warehouse. Mirrored Azure SQL database. In the warehouse experience, mirrored Azure SQL database. There are other options like Snowflake. Snowflake is new, announced in Ignite. CosmoDB, Azure SQL Managed Instance. This mirrored database is the one Open Mirror that I mentioned to you. So out here, let's go mirroring Azure SQL database. What is complaining? Just a moment. Shame on me, I need to make a small fix here in relation to the workspace. Just a moment, I'll make this fix for the mirroring to work. Okay. Workspaces. So try save, assign workspace, yes. Okay, done. Go back to where we were. Mirroring sample. Okay. Data warehouse. Mirror ajuste to database. Refresh. Just understand that I'm in the right workspace. Okay, so just some refreshes. As more fixes and some refreshes. So I need to specify what database I want to mirror. Fabric has detailed connection management. This is important for security purpose, but I will not go so deep on this. I'll go to Azure and get the address of my database, address of the server, in fact, and the name of my database, Adventure Works Dev. So create new connection, organizational account, login. I hate when keep caching our account and don't ask for our login. That's it. Ask for my login. Now I can give my login. We sign in. Okay, sign into the database. So specify the database. It will create a connection object. I have some blog posts about the management of these connections. And then you connect. Connecting to the data source. It's telling that I missed an important configuration on Azure SQL. There are many requirements in relation to mirroring, and I missed one of them. Is the database identity on the server level. Let me locate it. Identity. System assign and manage identity. Primary identity. Now let's turn this. Sorry?
I need to turn off this one, this identity.
I had to turn on, it requires it on, but there is something wrong in this configuration. Let me turn off. Okay. Turn off the configuration, and now I'll turn on again. Hoping that it establishes the configuration correctly. Update identities. It's saying that updated the identity of the database. It should work. Let's go back to mirroring.
Microsoft Azure now it's have a Copilot integration.
Copilot is everywhere. I was very concerned about Copilot. They made a demonstration in Ignite yesterday, for example, the Copilot on SSMS. The DBA goes to the Copilot and asks, when was the last full backup? The Copilot answer. Could you list out the log backups from the last full backup? And the Copilot answers.
Because this I tried to change to data engineer because one day the DBI it's gonna be honest and use.
But the problem is that when the Copilot is not working, the DBA will not be capable to work. That's a big problem. Let me back here and hope that it analyzes it again. It has an identity, configured with an identity.
I think it's complaining about you using managed identities.
No, it was complaining about the lack of the identity. It needs a system managed identity.
Look at the error on the screen. Is it unable to connect because it said you cannot mirror SQL database with managed identity across tenants. So I think
it's different tenants.
Different tenants.
Different tenants. Yeah,
yes.
it's one work.
Mirroring from one tenant to another.
Yeah,
You sign into Fabric to a different account, didn't you? And your Azure is.
maybe. Because tenants, it's below of the workspace.
My bad, my mistake, my mistake.
I think it's the Azure.
The mirroring cannot happen in this way between environments. Let me get back. Connect again. Sorry, I confess I was a bit overwhelmed of work and I missed some details of the preparation. I'm working in different tenants. The Azure is in a different tenant. And this is causing the problem with the managed identity. So instead of connecting.
You can do like a basic authentication, right?
Exactly, I'll try to use basic authentication. Work. I'm not sure it will work.
So
Because the problem is not my authentication to SQL. The problem is that SQL needs to come here. SQL needs to come here. Let me try to leave this example for later because I'll need to change to another tenant to complete this example. So I'll leave this example for later. Trust me, the mirror works, but it has many restrictions. For example, it needs to be in the same tenant. The Azure SQL needs to have a managed identity. The Azure SQL needs to have a managed identity because it will go through the fabric to put data in the fabric. We'll make connections to fabric to do that. So there are many restrictions. Azure SQL needs to be level S3 or higher for this to work. So there are many restrictions.
Overall, please, I would like to understand that. Pardon me, I'm not a data person, but I mean Azure infrastructure more. I want to understand this mirroring. When I mirror my data, what do I use that mirroring environment for? Like a test environment, dev test, or do I use it to test for the production? Maybe I have a production database and I want to test before pushing it to the production database for the customers to use. Does this mirroring serve that purpose of maybe like say sandbox environment for testing? Or is it useful?
There are many reasons for a mirror. In this case, we are talking about taking the data from production to analytics. So analytics will work over the mirror and not affect the production workload.
Okay.
That's the idea.
Can be used for the backup, for test, for development, for changes, and the analytics.
So, the purpose of the session is to compare mirroring with CDC. If I hadn't made the mistake of being in two different tenants, the mirroring would be working. I would have all my data correctly in Fabric, and I could use this data. But to understand the importance of CDC, I need to explain what is slowly changing dimension, SCD. What SCD is. In production environment, we make inserts, updates, and deletes in the production environment. In the data intelligence environment, we should only make inserts. The idea of the data intelligence environment is to capture the reality of a fact. That fact happened. So if we try to make updates in the data intelligence environment, we will be changing the fact, and the result is not good. So production updates needs to create a new version of the record in the data intelligence environment. For example, the customer moved from Italy to Spain. This is in production, this is an update. The production app doesn't care, it will make an update. But in data intelligence, I need to have two customers' records. One from when he was living in Italy, mark the moment when he moved, the end date of the validation of that record, and create a new record with the customers living in Spain. So what will happen is that a customer table in data intelligence can trust on the customer's key because the customer key will not be unique. We need another key to handle this. Yes, we need. So multiple versions of a record with the same key, they are kept. Only one version of each record is the current version. Only one of the records is the current version of the record. And And there is no automatic SCD solution. There is no get the data and make the SCD for you. No. The processing to create the SCD is all on our hand. There is no automatic solution to make an SCD. It requires special processing during ingestion. It requires that. So, intelligence without SCD type 2, we call SCD type 2 because the dimensions, I'm from the time the dimensions had definitions as types, type 1, type 2, type 3. This one is slowly changing dimension type 2. The customer lives in Italy. The customer buy a bike. Okay. He lives in Italy. He bought a bike. Then we'll have a pipeline to transfer this data to the analytics area. We transfer the customer as living in Italy and having bought a bike. All this is true, is the reality. Then the production updates the customer. The customer doesn't live in Italy anymore, lives in Spain. Don't care about production, is their problem. But what happens with the analytics? If we make an update in the analytics, what means we will not make the SCD type 2s, we will ignore the construction of FCD type 2s. What will happen is we will update the customer in the analytics and the customer is living in Spain. What's the consequence of this?
You don't have the story.
This is fake. This is fake. He's telling me that a customer living in Spain bought a bike. No. He was not living in Spain when he bought a bike. He was living in Italy. The bike was bought by a customer in Italy. That was a sale from Italy, an order from Italy, not from Spain. So if you don't use what is called SCD type 2, you end up creating fake facts. We already mentioned many ways that our boss ignores the obvious and keep going in the wrong direction. Imagine trying to explain something like this to the boss. It's terrible. What are we missing? What are we missing? The information in the intelligence data is fake. We can't analyze if the country is involved in the buying decision. How many bikes were sold in one country? We changed that, creating a fake information. We can't analyze if the change of the country is involved in a change of buying pattern, because all the information got wrong links and became fake. So the analytical data is being fed with fake information because you are not keeping the history correctly. You are not keeping the SCD type 2. So, keeping an SCD type 2, intelligence with SCD type 2. The customer lives in Italy. The customer ordered a bike. We'll transfer this to the data intelligence. Keep in mind, we create another key, a surrogate key, to be actually unique, because we know the ID of the customer will not be unique. So we create a surrogate key to be actually unique. And then we mark this. This is the current version of this customer in the analytics environment. Okay, and it ordered a bike. Great. Then the customer moved to Spain. how the transfer should work. The old version of the customer is not the current record anymore. It's not current anymore. The new version of the customer becomes the current record. And a link is created between the customer and the order. The link is not by customer ID anymore. The link between the tables is established by the surrogate key. A key to be actually unique for the customer in the analytic area. In this case, we keep the actual truth. The customer bought a bike, yes, but when he was living in Italy, that was an order from Italy, not from Spain. And the analysis will continue to be true. Make a mistake on this, and you are creating fake data. Lots and lots and lots of fake data. Okay, so example, the letters may be too small to read here. This is a customer ID 1. The customer is called Johnny Caprio. Okay, then this customer is transferred to the data intelligence area. Customer 1, Johnny Caprio. The customer on the data intelligence area, these two dates here at the end represent the start date when the customer became valid and the end date when the customer is not valid anymore. When it's new, it's because this is the current record. If I'm putting a date, this means that I'm invalidating this record. Why am I invalidating this record? I'm invalidating this record because I'm about to insert a new one. The name of the customer was updated. Johnny 4 Caprio is now the current record. That's the idea of an SCD, is slowly changing dimension. So, CDC and SCD processing. Let me go with the laptop. After receiving the JSON, we receive the JSON by the event string. A processing is needed. We have a set of JSON telling us what changed, which record changed. We need to process this JSON, get record by record, and decide how to adjust the table in the analytics area to really comply to SCD. It will create the changes of the SCD. This processing will create the changes of the SCD. It can be created by a notebook, be executed by a notebook in Microsoft Web. A notebook can execute this processing. And there are multiple methods to trigger the notebook execution. It's not the subject of this session. There are videos more detailed about this available. It's not the subject of this session. We can have a demo about CDC. About CDC, my demo works. I have here Lakehouse, table customer. I have these three customers, customer 12, customer 1, and customer 5 in the Lakehouse. Okay. Yeah. Let me open one more window to show everything. CDC. Okay, I have here an event string inside Microsoft Fabric. This event string is configured to receive the CDC input. The database is not activated at the moment. And deliver this to a CDC target. So that's the event string receiving the CDC information. Okay. Let's see one more detail, because we have configurations on the side of the database. On the side of the database, inside SQL, I need to enable the CDC. I need to enable the CDC and enable the CDC on the level of a table. The CDC needs to be enabled there. On the side of the database. Okay. I have the CDC there. Now, what's the destination of the CDC? The destination of the CDC is a custom database. Usually, in real-time ingestion, we receive the data in a custom database. A custom database is the best place to receive real-time data because how fast it is. It's actually fast. So it's the best time for us to be receiving CDC information. So I have a table, Fab CDC. Let me query only the table. Then while I'm querying the table was, what language is this? This is KQL. Every data analyst needs to be studying KQL. It's part of the data analysis environment, is the language that we use for real-time analysis. So you see, these are the JSON payloads that we received. Using KQL, I can query specific information. I can extract from the field payload. I can extract the operation and the customer ID. So I can extract the operation, the customer ID, and we will notice that I have 3 updates on the customers 5, 12, and 1, and I have 1 create. All the rest were snapshots, type R. All the rest were type R received by my custom database. Okay, and I need a processor. I have here a notebook to process the CDC, to make the CDC processing. So to simplify, I'll just run this notebook. As I said, more details, there are videos in my YouTube channel with details about each one of the techniques. But for now, I'm just executing the notebook to process that table in the custom database and make the transformation in the customer's table in the lakehouse. Let's wait some moments, it's processing.
You're processing the PySpark, this notebook. Where is the part of the Azure? You processing this is inside the Fabric.
Fabric processing.
I only work it with the Azure Data Factory.
Databricks. Data Factory.
Yeah. It's first time.
It's almost like Fabric.
is new.
Exactly. It makes alpha. So I processed the notebook. So it means that it got the changes from my custom table, which were received by the event string, and processed the lakehouse. Now we can check how the lakehouse is after the processing of these changes. So let's query the same customers again. Okay, so here I'm querying the same customer again. What we see? Customers 12, 1, and 5 are now duplicated. Why? Because I have a new version for the customer. How I know which version is valid? By the date. I have an end date on the record when the record is not valid anymore, and the end date is new when the record is valid. This is a pattern that I follow. Doesn't mean that you need to follow the exactly same pattern. The same to the last one. Here. Middle one as well. But I have one more. This one more is the customer inserted. The 3122. This doesn't have two. This customer was inserted, was created, and it was correctly processed by the notebook to register the creation of this customer inside the lakehouse table. So in this way, we are using CDC to generate dimensions using SCD type 2. And in this way, don't lose any history from our source tables.
There exist many ways to register this change. We can use the 0 or 1. We can use activate or false. We can use many things to do this, right? Or
it's absolutely true that you can. I like the dates because it tells me exactly the sequence when things happen.
But there's the way to do this is a framework, or you are free to.
My decision. You are free to choose.
Okay.
You are free to choose.
So
Sorry. You are free to choose, but there are some common techniques. For example, take a hash of the record. Take a hash of the record so you know if the record that are arriving was already there or not. When you don't have an incremental load. Sometimes you don't have an incremental load. You are loading everything and you need to discover what changed, what's not. Take a hash and compare the hashes.
So the CDC have actually pulled up all of the real-time updates on some certain data stores that we have, and then we worked on this data using the notebooks to create another, actually maybe deformalized, or how we can call it. So basically we all did that from this actual data. So the question is it, for example, to create like a platform of real-time updates, which probably this is not the case it should be done with, right? Like CDC is always going to pull this data, but for sure running the slow process of real-time updating or updating these records, maybe what is the best solution to kind of have a more frequent analytical updates in the network?
You went directly to the point. The presence of the notebook processing is hurting the idea of real time. Because how this notebook will execute the processing? It will need to be shadow. You depend on a shadow, and it end up not being real time. Although you can make very short shadows. It's possible to make very short shadows, but you are hurting the idea of the real time. I can only say, let's say, that maybe Microsoft has something coming in real time that was not announced yet that can solve this last piece. So what I'm using to say is that this architecture with real-time and CDC ingestion has the potential to continue to be real-time and give you the SCD type 2. But at the current moment, you have a disturbance on this. The notebook is disturbing the real-time idea. You are right.
I'm still with the debate. I don't know if I can have this question here, but it's between two technologies, different. CDC and the Kafka event hubs. You know the event hubs in Azure, because
Just a moment. Let me ask one question to mix your entire mind.
okay,
You know that event stream is an event hub?
if what?
Event stream is an event hub. Behind the scenes, it's using the Azure Event Hub to receive the information in real time. That's how it's receiving information in real time.
Can you repeat it?
Event stream
Event stream.
underlying the scene is an event hub.
Okay.
The event stream is an event hub.
Oh, so I think they use the Kafka. I was.
It's compatible with Kafka. If you have an application which wants to send data to Kafka, the event stream has the protocols to receive that data, but it is Event Hub.
Quick one. When you enabled CDC, a SQL query on a database level, did you have to specify what events you're going to be listening to? As in, you specify are you going to be listening to updates, creates and deletes, or was it enabled by it?
The lower level is table.
Okay.
You specify table, you are listening to change on that table. That's the lower level.
Because that reminds me of technology that was there already in a SQL server, which is I think called change record history or something like that, where you could enable on a database level that you want to track events of the row changes, but then you have to specify whether you want to listen for specific events like updates.
I know some techniques, but I don't remember about the
It
specifying.
was a built-in feature, and it looks very similar to what you did in here, but it was a nightmare to actually read the data from it because you had to compare the change IDs all the time.
At some moment, I was switching between two slides. The first slide I was explaining that you could manually do in SQL, and the second slide I was explaining you don't need to. You can make the ingestion in event stream.
So how this can be synchronized in clusters? See everything. If I need to put more work or something like that, how this will synchronize itself?
I'm not understanding if you're talking about the destination or the source.
Not the CDC itself, because you've got more database itself receiving all this information, JSON, everything. They need to synchronize itself, you know?
Database receiving this information.
If you put them more on clusters,
If I had more SQLs,
yes.
I would need, if I had more SQLs in the event stream scenario, this scenario, I would need to have additional sources here. Each source is a different SQL sending data, and it depends on me how I process that.
I think maybe a question was also whether it works in the HA scenario where source database is in HA,
Is it?
high availability.
High availability.
I'm not especially in the details about high availability, but I heard from specialists on details of high availability that CDC is a hell for them because it's difficult to synchronize the CDC configuration between the master and the slave, for example. It's difficult to synchronize between the nodes of a high availability scenario.
I think
This is all, nowadays, this is quite demanding to be in high availability like that. So that's why I started thinking about all this data information, all this bill of data in JSON, as I said before, receive all this information, all the CDC, it needs to be synchronized as well. How this can be done.
It is.
It might be delay a lot.
No, it doesn't delay because it's based on the transaction log. So the delay is not that big. But if something got slightly out of track, it may damage everything. And that's why, for example, I showed a script to enable CDC. That's not something that you should easily do in your production database. You need to talk to a DBA, and your DBA needs to approve, because who needs to manage that is your DBA. Your DBA will need to manage the consequence of having CDC enabled.
I guess the question is not a real time. You have a little delay because depends of the structure, how many replicas do you have? It's more complicated because real time in this case is not a real time. You have a little delay, and so depends.
But without synchronization, you can have some
I think
fake data or
In
you
this
have
case,
unstable data as well.
yeah, in this case, I guess you don't. It's impossible. You get a synchronizer for all replicas. You need to choose one specific replica to do this, because this question is. I'm not specialized in high availability, but the case is you need to choose one replica to do that.
In high availability, you have a master, and the other replicas are secondary. The CDC will come from the master, and that's it.
I think it's different. Tell me if I'm wrong, okay? But the high availability, it's like Hadoop. Hadoop, it's processing data from between on the side, and the Hadoop processing data in many machines to one target. Okay, this is different because this is what you say. It's in low level in processing data. Here we're seeing something that is not sync between. We just move data between one side to another side, and we have logs or validations data to be sure the data here, it's come here, but it's not between. I think it's
Less. Basically, the idea is that you have a master and you have a secondary replica. The secondary replica is not involved on this. The master is enabled for CDC and is sending you the data. Only the master is sending you the data. If your SQL environment, the production SQL environment, needs to switch the master and the replica, is a DBA hell to manage the CDC to continue work. Okay, questions? Okay, so then we get to the point. Difference between streaming CDC and mirroring. What's the difference? Both provide real-time data. Mirroring don't provide a history. You can't make an SCD with mirroring. You are mirroring the data. So if an update happens in production, you have the data updated in the analytics. You are mirroring. Okay, but could you put a processing after that to make the SCD? If you are about to put a processing after a mirroring to make an SCD, drop the mirroring itself and use the streaming CDC. That's when you choose for the streaming CDC, because you need the SCD. You choose the mirroring when you don't need the SCD. When for some reason you are pushed to not use SCD, that's when you choose the mirroring. So everyone is talking great things about mirroring, but we need to keep this in mind. Mirroring is getting the production environment to the analytics in the way it is. On the first session, we talked about how the modeling can be different between production and analytics. How you should transform the modeling between production and analytics. How you do that if you are relying on mirroring. There are scenarios when you need to rely on mirroring. I have a solution based on mirroring today. Why? Because the boss pushed for that. The boss wanted something fast, and the only way to deliver something fast was making mirroring and ignoring the history of the data. And it's on my backlog to solve this. So the streaming CDC provides you the complete history, but it's more complex to implement. You need to implement a notebook to make the processing, test it. It's more complex. The mirroring is something that you do in a click, but you are getting a copy of the production. The benefits exist. For example, you are relieving production from any analytical query. The analytical query will not happen in production anymore. That's a benefit. But you don't have a full history as a full data analysis solution should have. Summary. If you need SCD, is slowly changing dimension, if you are going for the best possible using SCD, use CDC ingestion. If you don't need the SCD for any reason, use mirroring. Why use CDC when you don't need the slowly change dimension? Use mirroring. So you can even mix both solutions in some situations. That's how you decide between mirroring and CDC. By defining if you need or not an implementation of SCD. Okay, I try to make something very, very, very fast. Let me change this. Okay, let's go to data warehouse. mirrored Azure SQL database. I logged in with another user which belongs to another tenant, now the same tenant than the Azure SQL. So let me get the information. There was already a connection established. Okay, for me. So the tables are coming, it's analyzing the tables because there are many fields that can't be mirrored. Tables without primary key can't be mirrored. Calculated fields can't be mirrored. There are some limitations in relation to the fields which can't be mirrored or not. So it marked the tables which can be mirrored. Let's get only one to be fast. Destination, create a mirrored database. Let's wait, it think a bit. And there we go. The mirroring is starting. While the mirroring is starting, we can take a look on the workspace and see what was created. So I have a special object, which is not a data warehouse or lakehouse. It's a mirrored database. The mirrored database has a SQL endpoint for us to query it. Okay, now I can monitor the replication. After the mirroring started, I can monitor the replication and wait.
It's very easy.
See, I click.
It's beautiful because the DBA, old DBA, it's take a time to build the environment, to make the change logs. Now it's very fast.
The problem is when your boss see a presentation like this and ask, why do you need to take so much time to use CDC?
Yeah.
Use mirroring.
It's better not show to them the mirror.
Exactly. It saves us in case of workaround. For example, in workarounds that I was obliged to execute. I end up mirroring a database from production. Then I had to make many transformations. According to the basics, the modeling needs to be different. I had to make many transformations. So I end up making the transformations with views. View over view over view over view, making the transformation, then being consumed by the semantic model. Then come the boss and ask, why is this so slow? We have the desire to not give a good answer. It's running the replication for customers, but has not completed yet the replication for customers. While I can open the SQL endpoint. Customers is already here, but probably is empty. Because the replication of data was reporting has not completed yet. At the moment, it has 3 records, but it's not completed. It would be very bad luck if I show a table with only 3 records. But at least you saw the example of the mirroring working. In my YouTube channel, you find videos with details about mirroring and CDC. CDC is very visible, is on the playlist called Conference. There is more than one video related to sessions, technical sessions about CDC. For mirroring, you need to look inside the playlist called Fabric Monday, and there is a video about how to do the mirroring in Microsoft Fabric.